Welcome to the Car Deal Advisor Podcast Show. The presenter of this show is Hugh Hetrick. Get ready for special motoring legends and great deals on your next set of wheels. So the 5 red lights have just gone out and it's go, go, go.
Welcome to the Car Deal Advisor Podcast Show with me, Hugh Hetrick, and my very special guest, Jonathan Sutherland.
Hello, Hugh. How are you doing? Pleasure to be back on the podcast.
Yeah, it's great to have you back on the show. It's been a busy few weeks, but have you had a good new year and a good start to the year?
It's not been too bad, quite busy as always, but I've had some amazing experiences today in the car dealing world, which we'll get into during the podcast, but funny stuff.
Yes, because this is the sale season, isn't it? With all the big dealers around about Edinburgh and across the country. Lots of good deals to be able to obtain and in the last couple of days of the month. And it sounds like from your experience today, you had a bit of an adventure.
I certainly did. Well, I was looking for a second car, really, something like a VW Up, something like that. So you'd think there'd be plenty around Edinburgh and some good deals in a very cold January day with a little bit of snow on the ground.
Uh-huh.
But my experiences today, Hugh, were just extraordinary. The the lack of customer service from start to finish was quite amazing, really. Just getting people to come and speak to you, the product knowledge that the people have is just virtually nil. Even 10 minutes on the internet on a particular model of car, and you can have more information than the dealers do. It's absolutely extraordinary. I know that things like the Car Deal Warehouse or the Arnold Clark Car Supermarket, I suppose they have lots of different models in stock, so the salespeople perhaps don't have the knowledge on every single car, but the basic ignorance of the staff is quite outstanding. It's something else.
Yeah, I remember going to one of the Renault garages in Edinburgh. I won't name it. I had the Clio, and I was trying to get the tyre pressure gauge to go off, because the warning light to go off. And they said, go and find out on the internet, they told me. When I went...
Well, that ties in very nicely with the Dacia dealer that I looked at today when I was looking at possibly ordering up a new Dacia Duster 4x4. Well, to start, once again, it was like the Marie Celeste. There was absolutely nobody there. There were a couple of demo cars outside, but again, nobody to let you into them, and no 4x4 versions to have a look at. And the showroom was empty. It honestly looked like it was getting out of business. And rather like that experience you had, when I did eventually manage to get somebody, they said, oh, it's probably just easier to order it online. I mean, unbelievable. It's like putting yourself out of business. And it really got me thinking that really brokerages like Car Deal Advisor, and if you could get any car and you've got good product knowledge, it's all you do. And if you could provide service backup through some sort of scheme with the AA or the RAC where basic servicing could be done, you could almost completely circumvent the dealer network, particularly if you could offer finance.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I thought in some ways dealers were getting better, but clearly they aren't. It does seem to be quite variable, I think, because there's quite a high turnover of staff in a lot of these garages, and they just, the training is limited. And that's why they just don't have a lot of them just don't know about the products that they're selling. And yet you think that the garages would be on it straight away, because this is a chance for them to sell cars, and Dacia especially does rather well. They're selling a lot of cars, so you don't want to miss out on proper, sales in the door kind of thing. By not having anybody there or telling them to go online. I mean, that's surely not a good idea.
Not really. And I get the impression that, car sales will almost be entirely online. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff in the news about the death of the high street with Amazon taking over. But I think that if customer service is as bad as I experienced today, then I'd rather order it online, because it's not fun anymore going and looking at cars. You sit down, they get you with a cup of coffee, which is normally completely tasteless. And if you want to buy the car, you get offered every single gap insurance, you get offered tire insurance, paint insurance, service pack. And before you know it, they've added on £2,000 worth of absolute rubbish you don't need. And just telling them you don't want it. I just start off saying, before you sell me anything, I don't want it. The answer is no, I don't want it. I want the car. And then they say, oh, well, it's part of our company policy that we've got to go through all this rubbish with you. No.
Aye. No, it is something else, isn't it? When they go through all that rigmarole, and then they find out they're not that competitive in the first place. I have to say though, my experience with companies like Motorpoint has been extremely good.
Really?
When we went up to get the Renault in August last year, in Glasgow, they had an open day, and they were giving away free food. Like we all had hot dogs, and they fed the whole family. And they let us have food first before they went to talk to us. So they get out of your way, which is great. You just kind of have a look around and then find out what you would like, and then they talk to you about it. And they gave us a phenomenal deal on the APR rates on the finance, and we got a car that normally we could never afford on a PCP.
Yeah.
I was impressed, and I mean they are quite quick. And I mean there are little things that when we went to collect it, it wasn't quite ready, and they hadn't finished valeting it, so we had to wait quite a while. But other than that, though, they have been extremely good, and they've got a massive range, and their cars are very, very competitively priced. They're very, very good that way.
Yeah, I think this is where I honestly think that normal dealerships, unless they're really good, they're going to just go out the window, because companies like Motorpoint, they get the cars, and generally you're getting a pretty good deal there. They're not going to be really overpriced, and they work on getting cars in and out efficiently. And they absolutely need to do that. So normally they are quite efficient, but today you just couldn't find anybody to help me at all. And in one of the VW Ups I looked at one of the dealerships, when there was snow on the ground originally, the roof was covered in snow. And I went away and I had a KFC because I'm like that. I was on a health binge. So I came back to the car and the sun had been on it and the snow had melted. And I decided I was actually going to buy the car. But I'm glad I went back in the sunshine, because the roof had, I would say, an 8-inch by 3-inch scrape along it, where it was completely down to the metal. I mean, this isn't a little scratch. And on the top of the A-pillar, again, probably 6 inches long, completely down to the metal. I said to the guy, well, that's not very good, is it? So, oh, well, we'll fix that before you get it. Whereas I think any decent dealership, you'd get that fixed before you left your car on the lot, because it didn't look good. And in the end, I said, well, I'm not buying a car like that. And he just said, oh, well, it'll buff out and we'll touch it up. No way. Absolutely no way. This is an 8-inch, you need to take it right back. And frankly, that particular dealership, I just don't trust them to do it properly. I think they'll just spray it, not even prime it, not bring it back, not blend the paintwork. And I just wasn't willing to pay that money for that car.
Yeah. It's not great when it's like that, isn't it? It's when it's a bit flimsy, but they only tell you that they'll fix it once you buy it.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that once experiencing, it was over at Loch Lomond. There was a big car sales place there, and we looked at an MPV, big 7-seater, and they said that they wouldn't let me drive the car unless I would put a deposit down. So I just.
Okay. Well, it's like when we went to the Rover, you knew they were going to go bust with this story, but they asked us to pay for the fuel for the test drive. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember. That's because the staff had been given fuel cards, hadn't they?
You're like, if this is as little money that Rover's got, then I don't trust them to have designed it properly, or, you finish the car right. You've got to pay for your own fuel on a test drive. Unbelievable. I mean, that's just extraordinary.
I think, to be fair, that was because the garage staff had abused their fuel cards, and I think they were paying for their own fuel.
That's not the customer's fault.
That's right, because I remember it said, you have to pay for the fuel as we were about to drive away. And that, but no, that was crazy, wasn't it? But no, I mean, I have to say this level of service in a lot of places is very variable. And it's only the good ones, I think, that are going to survive. So instead of death of the high street, perhaps it's death of the car dealer.
I think
it's going to continue to go like this. That's a good title for this week's show.
There's definitely scope there for a completely new way of selling cars, particularly new ones. I mean, I know second-hand ones, you want to go and have a look. Like if I hadn't been to look at that car today, I would have realised that they didn't have a roof. But but I do think for new cars, and with this Dacia, I reckon the manufacturers will start to bypass the dealers, because they don't want to give them profit. And particularly if they're so bad, they're giving a bad name to your product. Then all they've got to do is, if they give a slightly better APR for your finance, they might give you a little bit of deposit contribution, perhaps an extra year's warranty if you're a cash buyer, if you buy online, something like that, and then just get it delivered to your door. Why not? Why do you need it? Why do you need a dealership? It's a nightmare to get there. I've just been to get my car serviced today on the other side of Edinburgh, and I'm not joking, it was 30 minutes to get there and 30 minutes to get back. It's an hour.
Aye.
I mean, if someone could come to the house, it's only an oil and filter change. I mean, I could kind of do it myself.
Aye. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? As to where it's going. That you do wonder, because it is about the service and getting also the deals to the people. And they did say actually that the brokers, they reckon, will take a lot more sales in the next few years.
Yeah.
Because the way that the finances are going and the way that the dealerships are going, and you're actually representing the dealers better than they can do themselves in some cases.
Definitely. But, yeah. I mean, with product knowledge, and you take the time to learn the customer's needs. And customers don't want to be. I mean, I can really understand why people would use a broker like cardealadvisor.co.uk, because I'm just trawling around dealerships today. Even someone that likes cars, by the end of it, I was fed up after 2 or 3 hours of poor service, cars that are too expensive or really badly prepared, no one to talk to, just really hopeless service. I mean, it really was. Probably 1 out of star stuff.
Yeah, but it's true though, and the thing is, a lot of places now, they still say, "Oh no, we don't discount." I mean, I remember when the Peugeot 3008 was just launched, and it needed the new version, and it's a nice car. It's won a lot of awards, something like 47 international awards. But all the dealers said, "Oh, we don't need to discount this," and a month later they were discounting.
35% off. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some good deals at the minute on because I was looking at these little V-dubs. But I was thinking maybe just get a new Polo, because some of the deals on those are phenomenal now.
Yeah.
There's some
nice car, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to go for the 1 litre one, which I know isn't maybe the best, but you can get them for less than 11 pre-reg on a 68 plate. Now that's pretty cheap, because that's 14 and a half. Yeah. And actually, I was almost thinking that's a better car.
Aye. Well, I mean, that's a great. I mean, they're built well. It's going to hold a reasonable amount of its value over the next few years. It's very popular. Very popular second hand, so you probably won't cost you much at all. But I was saying those Fiat Tipos are back, the 1.4 Easies, which are normally about 13,500 to 14,000, and they're selling them for 9,995, and which is nothing pre-reg, ready to go, delivery mileage, and that is a cheap car. I mean, it's you're getting a full-size car, or certainly a full-size hatchback, for less than the price of a Fiesta or a Citroen C1, just about, and they're quite sturdy. That's why they go on the rental fleets, because they're pretty strong. And, they've obviously got a decent NCAP test, I think. So it's, it's quite a decent car.
Yeah, if you want to have a nice crash, it's a good car to have a crash in. Yeah, it's the classic Jeremy Clarkson when the best thing about the Volvo is crashing it. So here we go. He just drove it straight into a tree. That was brilliant. That must have been years ago now.
Well, he did crash a Volvo 340 because he hated it.
That's right. He said the only thing it's good for is crashing, so let's crash it.
And he left it in a hedgerow and walked away.
Exactly.
It was like...
it's good stuff. So any more deals out there, Hugh, that you can recommend for me?
Yes, well, on things like the the DS7, the new, the DS, which is Citroen's kind of premium brand, there's some phenomenal discounts. It's like £6,000 to £7,000 off a brand new Citroen, it's a DS7, Crossback, which is, it looks very much like the Audi Q5. I would say actually it looks better than an Audi Q5, to be fair. So they're coming in at, well under 40 grand, even for the top of the range one, and just into the early 30s. For the cheapest models. In fact, some even less than that. So we've got the full range of the DS7 in both diesel and petrol trim, and every one of them's got a decent discount off. Some as much as £6,500 to £7,000 off. Things like as well, the Vauxhall Grandland X, which is the bigger of the kind of SUVs, based on the 3008 car that, with the Peugeot kind of twin that they're doing with the PSA Group. Now that car should cost nearly £33,000, which is kind of crazy almost. But there's about 8 grand off that. Yeah. It's a huge amount of money. So they're coming in about 25, 26 grand. So there's lots of, and we've got discounts across the full range of Vauxhall and across the whole Grandland X range as well. So any one of those models, you can get a lot of money off. So it's definitely worth going on to the website, which is cardealadvisor.co.uk, and go to the contact form, which is on the home page, or on our contact form page, and just find what you would like a quote on, and we'll get you a phenomenal deal. And as Jonathan is saying, basically the car is delivered to your door, and just before they deliver it, they simply send you the invoice, so you're paying the dealer direct. So there's no issues in terms of where your money is going. It's going straight to the dealership. And then they deliver the car to you, and it's all nice and clean. and it's ready to go. And that's the advantage of using a broker. But there's phenomenal deals on everything. Even the new model Ford Focus, which is very popular, there's at least £3,000 to £4,000 off that. In some cases, it's about £5,000 off. So it's phenomenal deals on pretty much all makes and models at the moment.
And how about the cheapies that I'm after? My budget's maybe 7,000 to 8,000. What's available?
There's a little bit on things like MG3. There's not quite so much. I mean, there are some good deals on nearly new stuff, but it's mainly the PCPs, to be fair. The personal contract purchase deals where you get probably the best money out of them, for the lowest deposits and low APRs as well. But to be fair, we've still got the Skoda Octavia at £150 a month, including VAT, and that's for 10,000 miles a year. That's the estate in SE Tech trim. So it's got sat-nav, it's a 1-litre petrol turbo engine, 115 horsepower, but it's a great car. And at that money on a 2-year deal, it's about £1,300 down roughly. And it's £150 a month, including VAT. So it's a bargain, absolute bargain.
Yeah, that is cheap. I'm still surprised you don't pick up one of those for yourself, Hugh. That's an amazing deal.
Yeah. Well, the cracker, the best one, I would say the number one deal I've got just now is the Seat Leon SE 1.5 TSI petrol.
Right.
5-door. It's basically, you put down, if it's a personal deal, it's a personal contract hire, which is £2,700 down cash, including that. And then it's £83.47 a month, including that, for 2 years.
That's incredible. What's the balloon payment on that roughly?
That's a personal contract hire, so you simply hand it back at the end of the term.
That's it. You just give it back. Yeah.
So it's basically costing you £4,700 all in for the 2 years that you have it. And that's it. And you just hand it back, and it's 10,000 miles a year.
That's it. But you know me, I want it cheaper than that. I was hoping to get a VW up for about £5,000 and sell it for about £5,000.
I think there's probably deals. I think auctions are quite strong as well at the moment. If you can get nearly new at auction, then I think you'll get some cracking deals there, especially for the stuff that's only maybe 6 months old or a year old.
Maybe worth looking down there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think one of the podcasts we want to do and also in the video cast is to do a kind of auction special, and I think we should do that. We'll get along to Edinburgh or Glasgow and see what we can have a look at and record some of the prices as well.
That's a good idea.
To see what's out there. That would be a lot of fun.
Keep your hands in your pockets.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to buy you a Suzuki SJ.
Yeah, you'll end up with you'd be like getting excited over one of those Grand Cherokee SVRs or whatever they're called. You buy yourself
a some money off that.
600 brake horsepower SUV. Yeah, it's our new eco car.
Yeah, exactly. I said to Yvonne, I'm going to buy her a Renault Zoe, but I changed my mind.
Exactly. We don't use the fuel, the Chinese will.
Exactly. That's the way.
As soon as we use it, it's gone.
Well, that's us coming to the end of the first part of the Cardo Advisor podcast show. With me, Hugh Hattrick, and my very special guest, Jonathan Sutherland. We'll be right back in a few seconds. At cardioadvisor.co.uk, we can help you save thousands of pounds on your next new car or van. And we can also source second-hand cars as well. And we can save you money on car rental, whether it be in the UK and abroad. Just click our rental link on the website. And we'll give you a free gift if you trade in your car with We Buy Any Car using our special website link. So go to the website now and see how much you can save. And it's back to the show. Thanks for listening. And welcome back to the Cardo Advisor podcast show with me, Hugh Hattrick, and my very special guest, Jonathan Sutherland. Well, I'll tell you, John, what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. Now, I want to thank all my listeners and viewers because we had a phenomenal interview with Super GT last week. And he very kindly put it on his Twitter and tweeted it out and also put it on some of his videos and live streams, which meant we've had a record number of people listening. We're up to nearly 300 listens already, and it's still going up every day, which is absolutely brilliant. So thanks very much to Super GT for doing that for us and for obviously coming on the podcast show. And next week, I've got David Perel coming on the show. Now, for those of you who haven't heard of him, he's also one of the really YouTube's top gamers. He's been in World Championships. He also he also is a racing driver in real life and drives in the GT Championship for the Ferrari. It's a Ferrari 488 across the Italian scene. in terms of Italian racetracks. It's an amazing, it has a huge amount of success. He actually started racing, did go-karting, that won an awful lot of championships, then got into cars, but he ran out of money when he was about 15 or 16. So he decided to set up an internet company with his brother, which did extremely well. And then he sold that so that he'd get back into racing. And he managed to convince these teams that he was good enough. And guess how he did it, John? He did it using Gran Turismo.
There's a secret to what you're doing there, spending every evening until 2 a.m. on Gran Turismo, Hugh. It's the start of your next career.
Yeah, I haven't slept for about 2 years. It was like...
That's incredible. So when David Perel gets back from Davos, he gets in his Ferrari, doesn't he? Goes racing.
Yeah, that's his thing. He's a lovely guy. He does really good videos. I recommend his videos because it was actually through Super GT that I heard about him, because he tells you how to go quicker on a lot of the tracks and a lot of the races, and his accuracy is amazing because I've watched what he does, and then I use the same hints and tips, and I've been able to get my lap times down by maybe even 2 or 3 seconds. So he's really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to speaking to him next week. Because it's, you want to learn, and this is the big thing about sim racing, is that there's got a massive following. I mean, there's Super GT with 170,000 plus followers, on YouTube, and it's all because they want to learn how to go faster, and it's quite, you kind of think, why can't they have the driving test just using simulators,
Yeah, if you could get as enthusiastic about passing their GCSEs and A-levels as they do about shaving a couple of seconds off their lap times, then maybe the GDP will go up.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what they're all trying to do. They're actually being really competitive. And it's really good because they kind of share out the tips as well. So everyone has a really good chance to learn something and get a bit better if they want to.
That's what you find about a lot of the online communities is people are actually genuinely trying to help each other get better. Whereas you tend to find maybe in real life there's less of that. I mean, whether it's because of the fact that you're slightly remote, I don't know, or you can see somebody improve. But it's really nice, and so there's some great people you've had on recently, Hugh. It's been really good.
Yeah, I think as well, people are in real life not so generous because it's the cost. So they kind of feel, well, my assets are all taken up with this, and I've spent all this money, so therefore I'm not going to tell anyone how to compete with me. They'll have to do that for themselves. Well, if you've got a gamer that you spent 200-300 quid on a PlayStation 4 or whatever, then it's not quite the same. There's not so much to lose.
And also, if you can give really good hints and tips, and people can get better and improve their times, and more people will come to your site, you'll get more clicks, and you'll get a lot more money from YouTube. And if you've got 200,000 followers, then you can be making some proper money out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Super GT is full time as a YouTuber now. And he quite often has, over 1 million views over time, for many of his videos. And he's very good. He's also, it's a safe thing to watch for all the family in terms of there's hardly any language in it or anything like that. So, all his videos are
he's not going to get demonetized by YouTube then.
No, there's 1 or 2 guys that I watch who do swear a bit, and they always get annoyed because they end up getting demonetized because they swear too much.
So like that film, it was Wesley Snipes when it's like language violation penalty.
Oh yes, yes, that's right. I watched that recently.
Demolition Man, Demolition Man. Coming true, isn't it? So you can't cuss on this podcast,
it'll be a hate crime.
It's a family podcast.
But no, so it's very good. It's really, really good. So I'm looking forward to that. But the big thing that we're looking forward to on the Cardio Advisor podcast show is, on that show that I did last week with Super GT, we suggested having a big race. And where better to do the race than at the Jim Clark Museum when it reopens? Because they're having Jackie Stewart and I think David Coulthard and Dario Franchetti. Lots of the big names are going to come back down to Duns for the big opening weekend. So they're going to have racing cars and all sorts of, and there's going to be a simulator in the new museum.
Really?
And we're thinking, why don't we have Super GT? Yeah. Super GT, and I think there's about 4 others. There's a guy called the Kai 25, Tidney. We're going to try and get in touch with him. And another one called Eris. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's got lots of E's and I's in it. But I'm hoping that they will sign up and come up to Duns in the Scottish borders and be able to have a go. And what it is we're going to get a simulator company to bring a huge truck and have 4 simulator machines ready to go, and they'll be able to not only do the whole show, but hopefully we're going to try and see if we can live stream it out on YouTube so that people can watch it. So potentially we could have hundreds of thousands of views, and it would really put Duns back on the map. And I think, considering we've got the heritage of Jim Clark, and now we're going to have the future with Super GT and his like with that. So I think it could be really exciting, and maybe we could do it every year.
To have someone like you could have the gamers versus the real drivers. You could have Super GT, you could have another gamer, yourself, versus Coulthard, Franchitti, and whoever else turns up. And Jackie Stewart could be like the previous generation takes on the gaming generation. You know, it could be brilliant. Actually, that is a very exciting plan. I hope you can get the funding together to get it up there. And also, I think the F1 drivers, they've got huge followings on Instagram and on YouTube and on their social media. So if Coulthard and Franchitti and what Jackie Stewart does, but if they can link in and hashtag in, then you're going to get masses of viewers, and it's going to be a real phenomenon.
Oh yeah. I know it would be something else. So we need about £2,700 to do it, because it's going to be about 2,200 plus VAT to do it. So that is the thing. So any one of our listeners can donate to our page. If you go onto the cardoadvisor.co.uk website, there's the donate page, or you can pay a bill. But if you go into the donate page, you can donate from just £1. So anything would be fantastic. If you're able to donate to the show, because that would go directly to getting the funding in place to get this championship race in action, and we would hopefully secure it. We're hoping that the museum will be open round about maybe July, August time. I think that's a fair idea of the time. So I'm going to confirm it with the trust, the Jim Clark Trust, and then see what we can do from there. But I had an interview about 6 months ago with Douglas Niven, who was the cousin of the late Jim Clark. And I'm hoping that he'll be able to help me get in there and get things sorted out, and see what we can do, because I think they would be very supportive of this kind of event. But they maybe just don't have the time to be able to organise it. But if I can help
do that on the side, and all you need is a bit of space on the street somewhere in Duns outside, and all the guys can get together. And would it be possible for the game manufacturers to get a Lotus Cortina in the colours of Jim Clark, and perhaps his classic Lotus racing cars that he had driven in the past, could be put on the screen on the tracks that he used to race on? I mean, that would be amazing if that could.
I think a lot of them have already done that. I think his Lotus Formula One car, I'm pretty sure that's, if it's not on Gran Turismo, it's on iRacing, and I think it's iRacing that they're going to be using for the actual setup. So we would certainly inquire about that to try and make it as product specific as possible, because I think that would be brilliant. That would be really quite fun to see them race in those cars. And they're definitely available, and they've got games like Assetto Corsa, which has the Jim Clark cars as well. So I'm sure there's a way of doing it to be able to get something that would be very similar, or as real as possible, so that they could drive that car.
It would be incredible. And you can imagine what Jim Clark would think if he was alive today, that his racing cars from the 60s have been reproduced with the most amazing computer graphics, and modern drivers and gamers and a whole new generation driving the cars that he used to drive. I reckon he'd be absolutely over the moon.
Yeah, well, it really goes along with what they're trying to do, because they are trying to make it so that young people can come in and see, what motor racing is all about, and inspire them to go on and do things. And everyone wants to have, these simulators. Whenever they're available, you go to Goodwood, there's queues out the door for people waiting to have a go. It's the thing that people want to do. It is definitely the way forward. So having this available, I'm actually thinking, I think I'm going to buy some myself and set up a wee arcade, a gaming arcade or something, because the amount of people who want to have a shot.
Whenever you go to a party or a wedding or something like that, or they've got one of these things, no one's listening to the best man's speech or listening to the whatever's going on. It's just queues of people just all around the simulator. It's they certainly are a bit of a phenomenon.
Yeah.
And they're getting better and better. And actually, in the past, it used to be really quite expensive computing to produce this stuff. But now I think it's a PS4 Pro is basically the thing which produces all the graphics. It's extraordinary what they can do.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a PS4, there's a standard one. And it's amazing. I mean, you put it, you connect it into your monitor, and mine is not that big, but some people have it on a huge TV. And it works brilliantly, and you get, it's amazing that the feel and sensations that, especially if you have the steering wheel and the seat and the pedals, you're getting a phenomenal, kind of embrace of the game. And it's fun. And I was watching the Race of Champions on Sunday, which it was the Best of Britain race, which had Super GT and a few others in there. There were about 12 of them or more. And they were knackered by the end of it because they had to drive for about an hour and a half, around one of the Gran Turismo circuits. And basically, it does take it out of you. If you're having to concentrate and race using the steering wheels, it does,
that's what you're going to tell your personal trainer and your
so
wife is that actually all this time on the PlayStation, it's exercise. It's good for your health. This is it. This is one way to make it more popular. Exactly. Get it funded by the NHS. Get it socialized. There you go. PlayStation 4 for every obese household.
Well, it's something else. But no, I think it's going to be really exciting. And I've already had comments back from supporters of Super GT that they would want to watch it. They would want to have it live streamed. So I think that's brilliant because I've not really had any major support like that before. So I've already had a few comments regarding that. So we can't wait. So I was going to say, for our listeners, if you have any questions or if you'd like to support us as well, send us an email at podcast@cardioadvisor.co.uk, and we'll do our best to answer your questions as quickly as possible and to make sure that they're mentioned in the next podcast. Of course, if you'd like to donate to the show, simply go to the website at cardioadvisor.co.uk and go to the donate page, and you can donate from just £1. But yeah, it's really interesting how things are going. I mean, there's Formula One as well. I mean, it's all esports. They've got a massive esports series and championship that goes every year. And now the Formula One teams like McLaren and Mercedes, they've got major simulator drivers and big simulator programs. And people who have done well on Formula One 2018 end up driving for them. They do their esports with a Formula One team if they get through to the finals.
I wonder
if
it's getting to the point where eventually Formula One will just be in simulators. I mean, it could be, couldn't it? I mean, in a way, why not? If the environmentalists get their own way and the vegans, they won't they won't want anyone racing cars and burning awful fossil fuels.
Well, the funny thing is, there was a thing about that last year, and they reckon that what they'll do is that they'll have like major simulator races available for people to actually join at the same time as the major F1 races going on. So you'll be able to have a kind of esports version of the actual race. And so it'll be the top simulator drivers versus the real-time drivers. And obviously they'll both be live streamed. They'll both be able to watch them. And it could be quite interesting to see which way it goes. As to how people do and what the success rate for the drivers are. So it's going to be, I think it's in that way. If you're good, you'll be able to actually get involved and maybe get mentioned or get seen on TV. Because I don't know if they're going to have the simulators at the actual racetrack or whether it'll be somewhere else. But even still, it'd be quite amazing to watch it simultaneously, as to see, who's doing well at what corner and what the strategies are and things like that. But I'm looking forward to the Formula One season, which is less than 2 months away, just in March the 17th, I think is the first race. So that should be good. And, so we're getting ready to watch that. We're going to try and do podcast reviews of the races as well with my friend Andrew Dixon, who will be on the show next week as well. We're going to do a show next Thursday. So we'll have that on about the weekend as well. So it's really exciting. It's really exciting as to what's happening. So we've covered quite a bit there, John, haven't we? From the death of the car dealer to the start of sim racing. And a big championship race, potentially.
You could have millions of views of this thing in Duns when the museum reopens. If you can get the people like the big racers, Coulthard and Franchitti and co, to back it and put it out on their Instagram and their social media feeds, you could have the damn thing watched on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
millions of times. I mean, really, you could.
Yeah. Now you'll get more views than BBC One
these days.
Creators. I mean, like, there's that Super GT that has quite easily nearly 2,000 viewers at a time watching his live stream, which is a lot. I mean, a lot of TV programs probably don't have a massive amount more.
That's pretty big number, really.
It's amazing. Yeah, and if you do the views right the way through the whole stream, it's thousands, it's tens of thousands. It really does go up. So, I mean, it shows you what can be done. And I mean, to be fair and to give Super GT a lot of credit for this, I mean, he's been going since 2011 making videos, but more recently doing live streams, I think, for about the last 2 or 3 years. But it just shows you what can be done. And there's others. There's another chap called Jimmy Broadbent who's got over 200,000 subscribers. And he gets big numbers watching as well, and for his videos. So, and of course you've got people like Seen Through Glass and Smee 500, who does all these kind of big car reviews and gets to race and all sorts of stuff. So it's definitely the way it's going, because YouTube makes it just so accessible.
It really does, and the talent comes to the top. It's a proper sort of meritocracy, really. The people that are good at it and put the effort in and put something out every day or every week of a high quality, then they're the ones that do well. Whereas the mainstream media, in so many ways, they're quite complacent, aren't they? Really, and you have to pay for their your TV license, so you get put in jail. But YouTube's it's a proper free market in a way.
Yeah, no, I love it, and I think it's really good as to what they're coming out with. So long may it continue. And we'll get more interviews done and things like that. So what have you got plans for the next couple of weeks?
Not really. I might get another car, but I just don't think it's not possible to buy one in Edinburgh. It's either they won't come and talk to you, they tell you to go online, or they've got a hole in the roof. So, but that's about it. Other than that, it's work. I'm away with work next week. I've got to head off to Ireland for a bit and then to France for a bit. So I'll be very busy in February, actually, but a bit more time off in March. So hopefully we can rendezvous then, if not before then, and do another one and have a catch up.
No, that would be good.
And I'm very excited about these plans for the Jim Clark thing.
Well, the good thing about this, we can always
sim and some esports. It sounds genuinely
this podcast up and running. I'll send it to your Twitter, or I'll send you the link.
Watch the money flood in, and you'll have that simulator in no time whatsoever. You better buy your own.
Yes, that would be the thing, but that would be super. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been great to talk to you, and thanks to all our listeners. We appreciate very much you listening to the Cardio Advisor podcast show, and we'll do our best to get more interviews with the best and the experts. John, you're an expert in car deals and car sales, and as the questions come through,
I'll do my best,
and I'm sure you'll be able to answer our customers' queries. We're the best. That'd be fantastic. Well, you have a great week, and to all our listeners, have a fantastic and safe driving week, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye just now. For more information, go to cardioadvisor.co.uk and you can see all the special offers that we have on the website. And remember, we have our YouTube channel, which is at Hugh Hatrick, and also we have our podcast on Podbean, on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Anchor FM. And if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe to our shows, or you can donate every month for just £1. Thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Excellent.